Good morning and welcome to Write with Rachel. I'm Rachel and I'll be your guide today. Have you ever gotten stuck trying to write a short story? I know the feeling. I've written nonfiction for years for different health related publications, but fiction always seemed more difficult. After challenging myself to write 35 short stories in 35 days, I had an aha moment and created the Tilt fiction writing method. You can learn all about Tilt in the video I've linked below. Today I'm going to improvise 4 story ideas and write a micro story in 10 minutes or less. I encourage you to watch my messy handwriting fill the screen or join in on the fun and write your own story. First, we're going to start with a story idea. For today's prompt, we're going to use our story spark called Roll the Dice. And for today's prompt, we're going to start with a month and a date. We're then going to look up a fun national holiday. So today we're going to roll one die for the month. So we have January, and we're going to roll 2 for the date. So we have January 6th. So I'm going to look up a fun national holiday on January 6th. And the first one is National Take Down the Christmas Tree Day. So first part of our prompt today is going to be National Take Down the Christmas Tree Day. Whoops, sorry about that. The second part of our prompt today is going to be connected to the sense of touch. I have 6 touch words lined up on the left-hand side, my left-hand side over here, and we're going to roll 1 die to pick a card and see what we get. We have the number 6, and so we are going to go with the word sticky. So for our touch word today, we have sticky. Let's take a few minutes and build out some creative writing ideas around these 2 concepts. Let's say you want to write a short story and it's going to be something that includes both of these. So you can have a character, let's say that her name is going to be Kiki, and she works at the Christmas tree stand. It's just after Christmas, and there are just a few trees left. She dreads this day because she knows it's going to be sticky with tree goo as she works the process. When someone taps her on the shoulder, she turns around and gets stuck to him. ... Or another idea, let's call our character Marvin. Marvin watched The town truck drive by. It was loaded with Christmas trees. Picked up the holiday over. He'd just finished breakfast, and his hands were sticky with pancake syrup when his doorbell rang. ... Another option could be, let's have our character be named Haley. Haley knew she should have taken down the tree months ago. Now she was in a sticky situation, trying to explain to her landlord how the fire had started. She'd pretended to take part in National Take Down the Christmas Tree Day, but ... And let's do one more idea. Devin worked at the ABC marketing company. His first big campaign was to promote National Take Down the Christmas Tree Day. The reason is that his company wanted to collect as many pine needles as possible. They developed a special use for them. ... So there you go, 4 different directions based on 2 different story spark words. And I want to make a mention before we start writing that with the tilt method, I also encourage you to feel free to tilt your story. The other part of the tilt method is feel free to include whatever you need to keep your story moving. This could include magical elements, mystical elements, things that you've made up, things that perhaps could never happen, things that might happen or might not happen. And what's the purpose of this in the tilt method? The purpose is to keep the writing going. The goal is to finish the micro story and do whatever it takes to get there. If you want to make your story more logical, you can always do that in the next section, which would be a second, third, or even fourth draft. So now that we have some ideas, let's turn to the writing section. If you'd like to write along, I would love to have you join me. I am going to be using my hourglass to mark my time. My hourglass is set for 4.5 minutes. So if you see it run out a little bit before I stop, that's the reason why. And I am going to be flipping it halfway through my process. I will be talking as I write. If you'd like to mute me, that's fine. If you would like to watch me at 2 times the speed, if you're watching on replay, that can be fun too. So, are we ready? Let's see what kind of sticky situation we can get into today. Hi, I'm Anna, and I'm a scientist at the Evergreen Lab. We recently discovered a way to create a new fuel source by using pine needles. This all happened quite by accident, but it did happen, and it does work. You would think pine needles would be plentiful in Colorado. However, they have to have a certain level of freshness and protection of the trees has caused a problem because we can't just go and start grabbing pine needles whenever we want. They are a protected resource. My boss tasked me with finding a legal way to find an unending supply. So we started brainstorming. Of course, we could plant our own farm, but that's going to take years. We could buy some Christmas tree farms, but again, small supply and a sticky PR problem for people who might see this as corporation wiping out the fun of a good old family Christmas. What else could we do? The idea came to me when I was looking at my own Christmas tree. It wasn't a long-term solution, but it would do for now. It would give us enough pine needles to keep going for now. All we had to do was pair with Santa. He'd leave the toys and take the trees. People didn't really want the trees after Christmas anyway, right? All they wanted to do after the holidays was give them away, to get rid of them. But this time, many of them had already started drying out. The kids didn't care about the trees. All they wanted was the presents. The parents just wanted to see the kids open the presents. So we made contact with Santa, and he agreed to work with us, but we'd have to install pine needled powered engine on his sleigh in return, active next year. We shook hands. Santa started everything was going great. The power and magic of Santa loaded up people's trees and dropped them off at our lab. We were thrilled to be covered with pine needles. Even the sticky ones, until we realized that we'd buried ourselves under them. And when we heard the reporters pull up and the cameras start flashing, I realized that I'd buried Evergreen in a much stickier situation than I realized. Oops. That's the end of my micro story for the day. I will have additional notes about my story, including what I might add to this draft, changes I might make, some study guides, and also some possible journaling prompts connected to this. After I post this, you will see those in the description. If you are in a good flow, I would love for you to keep writing. If you'd like to post something about your story, I would be interested in seeing that too. I'd love for you to join me again tomorrow. I post a new writing session every weekday. And if you'd like to keep writing together, please feel free to subscribe to the channel.